Okay, so the upside that we were looking for on XRP has certainly happened, and so far it's looking pretty damn good to the targets that we expected, despite the fact that we got things like this announced, right? Like a 34% retaliatory tariff from China to the US, right, guys? And also, in spite of things like this right here, right, guys? Take a look at this. Powell inflation, Trump's tariffs could be more persistent. Okay, so that means that we are likely not going to be cutting any rates just yet, which can imply a lot of volatility in the markets, specifically to the downside, right? And now looking at this here, Trump tariffs, the Trump tariffs spark worst weekly meltdown since 2020. Now, guys, I want to just go ahead and give you the gravity of what just happened there. Take a look at this chart right over here, and you're going to notice that from the closing of the prior day, which was just Thursday, and this is our Friday trade here, right? From that closing period, the SPX, which is the S&P 500 index, moved down just about 6.04% over that time. Guys, if this were to have hit 7% on that day, this would have triggered a level 1 circuit breaker. Okay, guys, so that means that the entire market could have been completely shut down from any further trading in spite of that 7% drop. Okay, guys, so that's how close we got there today. I'm not saying that this is going to happen in the future. I'm just saying that there is a probability that this can persist. Okay, guys, so please be very careful in the markets. But despite all of that downside, all of that super bearish news, right? I think that there is something kind of brewing here within the XRP asset. Number one, right? We were noticing here algorithmically from this was Thursday here, guys, right? Take a look at the date right down there in blue. We announced that we had a buy signal here from Alpha One and Alpha Light, giving us that buy signal, and it hasn't since triggered any type of sell signal yet. And guys, so pretty damn good for the Alpha Light algorithm giving us that suggestion towards that upside. Make sure to grab that indicator right at the top right of your screen right here, guys, as it is still available for you at an incredible discount right now, and it's not going to last there forever at that bottom price. The prices will likely go up. Okay, guys, so now, right, let's go ahead and take a look at something interesting here that's coming in as a piece of news from just a little bit ago. Okay, so we have, guys, this is breaking news from Kenny Nguyen, and he's saying tomorrow, Saturday, 4/5/25, April 5th, 2025, right? The White House will reveal the U.S. strategic cryptos reserve holding number. So this means that President Trump announced before the top 5 cryptos on the list of the strategic or stockpile, including XRP. Guys, that's man. All right, so this is apparently happening today. Okay, so I'm wondering here if this is why XRP is presently kind of setting itself up for a pretty nice bounce. And I gotta say that I am absolutely seeing it. I can tell you this, okay, guys? So I got a few things that I want to show you within the XRP asset. Okay, guys, so number one, yeah, we already saw the circuit breaker level, right? But number one, we have a potential of this gigantic bullish engulfing candle formation. Okay, guys, so this is on a bi-daily time frame, which is very credible, right? Now this is presently what's happening here, right? So you have the green candle, in this case is blue, I get it, right? It's engulfing the prior red bar, right? And you can see here that even in this example, this red bar is very much like the one that we have right here, and this green bar is very much like the one that we have right here too. Okay, so very good. That means that the bullish engulfing is likely to continue towards the upside based on the probabilities of this formation, which has a great strike rate. Statistics are playing out pretty good here, okay? And this is another example of what a bullish engulfing means, right? You need to make sure that the body engulfs the prior red bar. And you're going to say, ARCa, wait, that's like completely parallel to the bottom side. Any type of, if this green bar is over this, right, if it's eating it, I'm talking about if it's engulfing it in any way, shape, or form, it is done. So why don't we go ahead and just do that, right? Let's analyze this and get down into a really granular level here and find out if that green bar is in fact over it or not. Well, take a look at this, guys. Absolutely it is. This green bar is absolutely below the red bar, thus introducing a bullish engulfing from the bottom of a trend, which indicates that there could be a shift in the market towards that upside. Guys, this is very, very exciting, and I am very, very, I'm actually I'm actually pretty stoked to be showing you something like this, early on. Okay, guys. So I will say this as well. Okay. We're about to get a 5-day close, right? That's going to be happening in 15 hours, 53 minutes. Now, there is a very obvious resistance on this. Okay, now I'm going to show you the importance of it. Okay, so kind of hang on here, right? Just hang tight. You're going to need to know this here because I know that some of my technicals and some of my technical analysts and statistical analysts are going to want to know some of these probabilities. Okay, so we have a good chance of closing a green bar from this prior red one, which means that we could be shifting towards the upside again. Guys, if that is absolutely the truth, then we would have to have just a little bit of an upside here in the immediate short term, right? Over the next couple hours, few hours even, up to the areas of around 217, right? You can see how much resistance there is here. There's the opening of this bar, there's the closing of this one, there's the wick low of this one, right? All kinds of stuff are suggesting resistance at that point. It can deviate, right? It can go all the way up to 219 even, right? So I would say anywhere between 217 to 219, wait up for it, okay? Wait for the dip to come back down. Why? Okay, well, usually when this is a 5-day bar, right? So when you are just at about, look at this clock here, right? When this clock is roughly 5.5 hours, 5.25 hours, around there, maybe even 6 hours, whatever that is, right? Whenever that clock is striking around that time, a decompression will start to happen naturally on this bar. So that means that this can actually decompress towards a 50%, thus introducing a potential entry criteria and opportunity for the longs to get long, right? From the XRP asset. Okay, so that would be entry conditions somewhere in the vein of this area here, right? The opening of this green bar that we're in. Okay, so if that's the case, I'm just going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a discretionary target here so that you can kind of keep in mind and use against the immediate short term. So I'm looking at a 205 to 208.94 probability of getting some type of I would say entry, right? Guys, I know that this video is already going kind of long here, so please make sure to hit those ATWs in the chat right now, and we will be good to go. Next, let's go ahead and, well, I guess I can just go ahead and explain a little bit more, right? So that decompression introduces, right? We'll get right back down into this level here, which means that we would potentially be opening now a new 5-day bar that could introduce more upside. Why? Because it would actually have to come back to the 50% from where it was. So if we came back down all the way to 205, that means we're traveling upward towards that 209. And this is also a shift towards the upside. So now I'm telling you that we have a first green bar here, first green, right? On that 5-day bar, now observing this chart right over here. Now we're noticing that we have a buy daily bullish engulfing, right? So if we were to use the buy daily bullish engulfing as as a reason to kind of use it for the analysis that we just saw on the 5-day time frame, check this out. There's usually, when we open up a new bar, right? This is a new buy daily bar. We just opened it here, just about 8 hours ago. So what happens here is that this new bar usually, depending on the proximity of the prior bar's high, usually goes up towards that prior bar high to get itself a little bit of a peekaboo. Okay, and I'm not even joking, right? That's the exact word. So we'll use something called a peekaboo, right? Use this area here as a temporary bull trap, get this thing to pull back, right? Anywhere into the areas of the 50% of this new bar, because remember, 60 to 70% chances you'll get a 30 to 50% prior bar pullback. Guys, we got to make sure to remember things like that all the time, okay? So if that's the case, let's go ahead and just see the targets that we could actually land in, right? So that would be right up here. We're talking about a bull trap, so it could go slightly up and it could go into this area right over here, which is confluent to this candle's top side. What targets are those? Let's manage them here. Let's just go ahead and say that we would go towards the top, towards that area of liquidity that we just talked about right over there. Okay, guys, so right at this resistance here, it's looking like we're coming up to where? Look at that target that we are talking about now, right? 217 to 216. Does that sound familiar? Of course it does, guys. We just spoke about coming up towards this resistance level on the 5-day chart, and look at the target that we have on this side of things, right, guys? As we we experience here that top side 216.95, just about 217. That is absolutely the resistance that we're looking for before this thing starts to retrace the freaking 50% of its own bar, guys. And that is the retracing of the 50% of this 5-day bar, because it's going to be closing here, right? When it gets close to that 5-hour close, that means that this here, the bi-daily time frame, would start to perform its statistics, and it's also going to retrace towards the 50% of this bar here. Very interesting times indeed. Okay, so we're looking at a bottom side of 205, right? 205.5 to just about 209. Okay, so let's mark it off here. 205 to just about 209. Well, that's interesting because we have a gigantic support right here that's very much near the 35% zone of the bi-daily bar here on XRP. Okay, great. So if I were to use any other area here, I think I would just use the bottom side of this. It looks confluent to a whole bunch of things, doesn't it? So I would, and you know what? Actually, I do think that it would probably be more along the lines of this low here with this, let me get rid of that right here, right? This low, right? This wick with this wick right over here. They're very, very confluent. And I do think that there's a couple others back there that are similarly confluent within a 2-day period. Of course, guys, we can only use so much. So yeah, I'm going to use the confluence between these two lows. And we were saying here at just about this area here, okay, because there is heavy confluence there. So let's go ahead and mark that off and just see what's up, right? Because we're observing this from a different time frame. This is using a different type of analysis now. And we could, you know, we could honestly use a pretty nice, oh yeah, we got to use this over here, right, guys? This is the support that we were talking about. So yeah, let's adjust that support to right at that top side, because that's literally where I think that 35% could actually support from. And now that we're looking at the downside here, right, you're seeing that this is right at the 50% of that bi-daily bar, and these targets right here using this bar, using these two bars as support, and also using these areas here as a 50%, this as the low, right? We are noticing that the targets are what? 206.26 to 208.92, which are like what? Right over here, 205.50 to 208.94, very similarly to the 5-day time frame analysis and 50% pullback of the 5-day time frame, because it's going to be closing, 15 hours from now, which in 10 hours should be pulling back after a short-term upside that we get up to the areas of around 217. Guys, I do think that everything is kind of rhyming here pretty nice. I will say this, guys, listen, I haven't done this ever, right? But we still have just about 5 seats left in the ARC Masters course. Guys, this is something that I'm offering for $100. Make sure to hit that link right at the top right of your screen here, guys, because that is literally an 8-week master's program for charting and trading for the beginners. Okay, guys, take advantage of it. 5 seats left. I want to see you in class. Okay, guys, I think something is brewing here. I think something is really interesting, and I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. I just feel like there could be some type of move here, and I just want you guys to be eternally prepared for it, right, guys? I mean, algorithmically, we're getting that buy signal. Yeah, we're looking at the formation analysis that we noticed here from this formation here, right? This is a bull flag here, giving us a potential topside target as well, right? So I'm wondering here, if this is a bull flag, then what is it actually giving us as that upside target? Well, why don't we just go ahead and kind of figure that out now? Let's measure it out, right? So it would be actually, I'm going to avoid this top wick here, right? Sometimes you want to just kind of get rid of the extra noise, right? So we're going to use this bottom side here. We're going to measure the move from the bottom from the top to the very bottom of that flag, and this is going to give us the targets towards the upside, the measured move, as they say. So let's just go ahead and imply it right about here, and it's telling us that we would actually move towards a target of around 1950, which is absolutely the top side target that we're expecting to hit based on this inverse head and shoulders top side target anyway, which is already rhyming with the right angled broadening descending wedge or descending broadening wedge, guys. So now if we do start creating breakouts here, guys, of course there is a potential top side target of around that 249. I don't want to speed up here too much. I just want to give you the targets that I am observing, and I want to give you my thoughts here for now, okay, guys, because there is this is still a very dangerous market. I got to say that I don't even know that I would be considering super long-term positions right now because anything can happen, but it feels like XRP is kind of poised for an upside here, and it feels like it's being set up a little bit different than any other asset, including Bitcoin, right, guys? Now, Bitcoin itself, it is looking like it actually is going to have some power coming in. This is the inverse chart here, USDT. This is your Tether dominance versus the BTC spot price action, right? So Tether dominance, it goes up and BTC goes down. That's because people, take their money out of BTC and XRP and XLM and whatever else that they have. And should they be using USDT, well, the USDT supply increases, and that would be exit liquidity from the crypto market, right? So the crypto, would go down. In this case, we're observing here something very curious on Tether dominance, which could actually lead towards strength for XRP as well. So again, guys, hit that. I want to hear an ATW2 if you made it all the way to this point on the video. Okay, guys, ATW2 in the chat if you made it all the way here, okay? Because I know I have a lot to say here, but I really want to express all this information, guys, because it is critical for me to share this with you right away, okay, guys? So this is what I'm talking about. The Tether dominance is actually showing weakness through the form of a formation, which is curious because the formation that we're observing, several formations that we're observing within XRP are also signaling potential strength. Okay, guys, so what is actually happening within this asset? Well, let's take a look at this formation here. I may have to use a couple different trend lines here. Actually, this one's not bad, right? We would use something like this here. Yeah, just about there, right? And what you're observing here is that this is your traditional rising wedge, right, guys? Your rising wedge here introduces weakness in the market, and it looks like we're in the process of actually breaking down now, right? So it already kind of made its little dip below. Now, there is a target for this. There is a way to measure this. Okay, let's go ahead and do it, right? We're going to go ahead and be able to forward test it for me because you are going to be the first to see this. So first target here, as soon as it realizes, right, that would be somewhere around the areas of around 5.43% USDT, right? The next target would be the center of the triangle, right, guys? Remember, you can learn all this with me in the mentorship. Make sure to click that link or check in the description below and just get inside of that square, guys. Pay the $100 and you're in. And right here, okay, the next target would be actually reflecting a bottom side of about 5.42%, and the largest target that this formation can give us would be the largest point of the formation, which is the back, right? Kind of imagine this line going down there, maybe a little bit lower, right? It's just an approximation, really, guys. These are your measured moves, right? So we apply it here to the potential breakout zone and kind of match it, right? And this would give you the bottom side of around 5.40%. So if it did work out, that means that this USDT dominance is showing immediate downside validation, right, which is us going up to the freaking 217 or 219, validation of resistance, then we come back down, right, because this is going to be the upside here to validate resistance. We come back down, right, and that's going to be us going towards the areas that we want to enter the market in, which we identified as being these lows right about here, 206.26 to 208.92 from this chart, and this chart here of 205.50 to 208.94. That's kind of the zone here that I'm thinking we could actually drop into, and that would be in spite of this move down to here, guys. I think it would be actually this immediate short-term drop right here, right? That's going to give us the upside on BTC and XRP, and then we come back and validate it. That's going to give us the downside on BTC. As soon as we can get that huge downside, that's going to be that point, guys. That's going to be that point. It could be from here. It could be from here, right? That we get that upside push, thus introducing us to the 206 to 209, whatever that is. And from that moment, guys, there could be that potential entry zone, which then the Tether dominance would start to decline here 5 5 ticks, it would be 5.40% all the way down there. Okay, guys, so I think that there is some type of opportunity coming here, and should it start breaking down below this area here, guys, USDT could actually be showing here some weakness, and it could start falling here. So if it does start falling, this is BTC and the rest of the crypto market strength to the upside. Spot price action is probably going to start heading upward this weekend here alongside almost every other asset. But please be careful, because there are announcements here. There's potential war happening abroad. Any of these things can impair the play. Okay, guys, I think this is a pretty good place to leave off the video. If any questions or concerns, you know where to reach me. Okay, guys, I'm happy that you did stay all the way here, and I'm happy that you were able to maybe understand how the dynamics of the markets are working through the eyes of other assets. Okay, guys, I love you very much, and we will talk very very soon. All right, guys, peace. Please take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever, ever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very good rest of your night and or day, and I will catch you at the bell on Monday. Adios, team. Oh yeah.